Yo, what is going on, guys? Got a story for you here today titled Wife Files for Divorce, thinking that she will take everything only to leave empty handed. So, this is one of those situations where you have a wife who is really just playing the wife role so that she can take the dude's resources. This is something that you see a lot in modern day society, despite the fact that you have these people trying to tell you, oh, no, it doesn't happen, guys. Women are just leaving the relationships, they're leaving the marriages because men are incompetent. Okay, but if you actually look at what's happening, you have a lot of women who are getting with men and then leaving them, trying to take their money. And this is one such story, but she left empty handed. Guys, don't forget to like the video on your way in. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new here. And let's take a look at this story. So, a 38-year-old man tells the story of how his 36-year-old wife filed for divorce, expecting to walk away with everything that he had built. Thanks to good planning and clear agreements, she ended up leaving with nothing but her own mistakes. He says, I am a 38-year-old male and my now ex-wife is 36 and we were married for 9 years. When we met, I was just starting my business. I was not making much yet, but I had big plans and she was supportive in the beginning. We lived modestly, we built up our savings, and eventually my company took off. By year 5, we were living very comfortably. We had new cars, nice vacations, and even some investment properties. So these guys, or at least the husband, was doing very well. Very, very well. A lot of people are not in the situation where they can just buy investment properties or multiple cars or even go on vacations. So they're doing significantly better than the average. He says, I thought we were both proud of what we had built together. I thought we were in it for the long haul. So a lot of these women will see that, you know, their husbands have built something like this, and rather than go, oh, this is great, you know, and they'll be supportive and stick by you, a lot of them think, well, I could just leave this guy, I could take his crap, and then I can just go out there and date whoever I can date a more attractive man, right? I can date a taller guy. I can go out there and I can date the guy who has tattoos, the guy that I used to talk to, whatever the case may be, because in their mind, their husband has fulfilled his usefulness if she can take money from him. So he says, about a year before the divorce, I noticed her attitude start changing. She started making comments about deserving more, how she had sacrificed for my success, even though by that point she didn't work and she spent most of her days shopping or brunching with friends. At first, I tried to be understanding. I thought maybe she just needed a new hobby or a fresh start, but the resentment in her tone grew louder and the distance between us widened. Guys, let me just say this. If you're a successful man, like you have a company, you've got multiple investment properties, you guys have multiple cars, and you've got a wife who sits there and tells you that she deserves more, maybe she can try and figure that out by herself, and you can divorce her ass. Okay? Like, some of these individuals are so greedy, man. They have incredibly comfortable lives, right? Multiple cars, multiple investment properties, but it's still not enough for this woman, and she deserves more. So I think that this dude should have just divorced her ass, and then said, okay, if you think that you deserve more, go and get more from another man and tell me how you go with that. Go out there, go find a more successful man, and then live with him then. See if he will get you multiple cars. See if he will buy you multiple investment properties so that you don't have to work. Okay? But a lot of these women, guys, they say crap like this only because reality hasn't hit them in the backside, okay? So he tried to be understanding, which was stupid. Like, stuff like this is incredibly disrespectful. Oh, I deserve more. And also this sacrificing stuff, guys. Like, this woman doesn't have to... What's she sacrificing? You know? Like, she doesn't have to do anything. She gets to chill at home, spend her days shopping, and hanging out with friends. Like, she literally has nothing to do. What is being sacrificed here? I think what she's referring to is she's sacrificing her ability to go hook up with random dudes. Maybe that's the sacrifice she's talking about. One morning, without warning, I was served divorce papers at my office. In her filing, she demanded half of everything. The house, the business, the investments, even my retirement accounts. I guarantee you, by the way, this woman has no idea how to run the investments, has no idea how to run the business. Okay, but because she's been with him for a time, she thinks that she can just take half of this crap. Like, if you were to give this woman complete control of this dude's company or business or whatever, I guarantee you she would not be able to run it because she has no idea what she's doing. You know, like a lot of these women, they haven't actually, they didn't do the building. Do you know what I mean? They think that because they were there while the building happened, that they deserve the outcome of it, which is incredibly stupid. So she wanted half the house, half the business, half the investments, and half of the dude's retirement accounts. That is crazy. She was confident she thought she would leave the marriage set for life. What she forgot was the paperwork we had both signed back when we were still in love and thinking practically, a prenuptial agreement. Now, I will say, guys, prenuptial agreements don't always hold, but sometimes they do. Sometimes they are not thrown out of court, and women get completely screwed over by it. I wouldn't rely on something like this, but it certainly can, result in women not getting the things that they thought they were going to get. The prenup clearly stated that my business and any assets stemming from it were mine alone. It also laid out that any property purchased under my name and not jointly would not be divided. So this guy also made the point of not buying property with the woman's name on it, which again, why would you do that in the first place? You know, like I see a lot of guys, they buy a house and they both have their name on the house. Like, why on earth would you do that? She's obviously going to try and take it at some point. She had reviewed it and signed it willingly before our wedding. There were emails, witnesses, and lawyers from both sides to confirm it. She either forgot or thought that she could challenge it and win. When she realized that the prenup was solid, she tried to claim coercion. Her own emails and text messages from that time proved otherwise. She had been enthusiastic about signing it. She then tried to argue that she had contributed emotionally to my success, but her lack of employment history, business involvement, or anything remotely resembling partnership made that a laughable argument in court. Yeah, guys. So this guy, he built a multi-million-dollar business, it sounds like. I'm assuming multi-million because he's got multiple investments, investment properties, multiple cars. You know, the wife didn't have to work or anything. And this woman's like, yeah, you know what? The only reason you're a millionaire, the only reason you made it this far or that you were successful is because I contributed emotionally. What the hell does that even mean? Can somebody explain to me what that means? Because whenever I hear crap like this, I just think that women are making up words. I really do. Contributed emotionally. Very, very interesting. Let's continue. She was furious. She told anyone who would listen that I had cheated her and left her with nothing. Bear in mind, this woman initiated the divorce because she deserved more, apparently, by the way. Some of our mutual friends tried to guilt me, but most people knew the truth. She had seen the money, gotten greedy, and thought that she could cash out, and she miscalculated badly. He says, this experience taught me that protecting your future isn't selfish, it is smart. When you have something worth protecting, whether it's a business, a home, or your future earnings, you have to think long term. Even when you're head over heels in love, people change, situations change. An agreement on paper matters more than promises whispered in bed. Makes complete sense to me, honestly. I think this guy made the right move. As far as I'm concerned, depending on where you live as well, depending on what state, for example, if you live in America, I know different states have different governing laws when it comes to these sorts of things. But in general, I would say this dude was pretty lucky to get off light in this situation. Like a lot of the times women are walking away with crap, whether it's because the women haven't signed anything, or whatever the case may be. But it's good to see that this guy didn't have everything taken from him from a wife who apparently deserved better, guys, because she did the emotional labor or whatever. But we are going to be leaving today's episode there. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. Make sure you guys take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Peace.